Good afternoon, Rich Nass with Embedded Computing Design, and I'm here for the video version of Embedded Insiders. I know we always do this as a podcast, and everybody want to know what we actually look like. Well, here I am, and here's Brandon Lewis, my partner in crime. As I said, we're at Arm TechCon. What's new?
I don't know, there have been a ton of different announcements. Everybody's interested in AI and machine learning these days, as well as security, but nothing that's been a really big overarching theme. There's just a lot of activity around ARM.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I've heard a lot about it. And I know you're not supposed to come to an event and look for something, so I try not to do that. So the thing I was looking for was AI machine learning, and I actually haven't seen a lot of that. What I have seen, just about every discussion has been about security, which surprised me a little bit.
Okay. Well, I disagree. I've seen a lot about AI and machine learning at the show. I don't know what show you've been at. Maybe that's a co-located show or something.
Maybe they were just on higher shelves. Anyway, but I wonder if there's any other news that's happened at ARM lately.
I don't know. It would be really convenient if we could have somebody from ARM here to tell us.
Poof! Rhonda Dirvin, Senior Director at ARM. Hello, Rhonda.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. You guys are fun.
We try. Any interesting news lately out of ARM?
So, thank you for asking. First of all, we had an announcement at the Xilinx Developer Forum that was a week or so ago, and we announced that the M0 and the M3 are both going to be available on the Xilinx FPGA.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So, a lot of demand for it. They've been asking for it for a long time, and so we feel like...
They being Xilinx or they being the community?
They being both. Actually, both. The marketplace, there's really a desire to utilize ARM in FPGAs.
So how are you going to work on getting that out into the community and out into the marketplace?
In terms of getting the word out, or
getting the word out and getting the technology out in general?
Well, getting the word out, things like this always help, and we have
only
done
you could meet with the media.
I was going to say, and we've done some blogs, and we were at Xilinx Developer Forum, so a lot of their developers are there, and it was covered at least a little bit. But in terms of the product, that people would go to Xilinx and say that they wanted an ARM core in their device.
And the ecosystem, is that an ARM thing? Is that a Xilinx thing, or is that more of a community traditional third-party thing?
Well, I think the ARM ecosystem, as you know, we talk about that. I'm sure you've heard it at this show too. Is pretty robust and pretty complete, right? So there's a lot out there on the ARM ecosystem. So I don't think it's that people have to actually go anywhere to get it. It's in their normal development flow. They could just access the ecosystem, which is one of the reasons that people wanted ARM in an FPGA.
Very good.
Speaking of ARM and an FPGA and the machine learning and AI that you didn't see at the show, one of the things that's happening that you've noticed, I think everybody's noticed, is that there's a need for a new type of compute architecture for AI and machine learning workloads, and everybody's working on it right now. Currently, people are putting out accelerators for specific types of neural networks. But ARM and an FPGA provides a nice next step forward because of the flexibility of the FPGA, and then you still have the ARM cores there to do some traditional compute. So hopefully that can be the beginning of moving those processor architectures forward for those workloads.
Yeah, and the fact that people can change, right? Because machine learning is still relatively new, so the algorithms are still being worked out, and the fact that it's an FPGA and you could modify what you were doing is an advantage as well.
And by its very nature, machine learning algorithms are going to change.
Right, by definition.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that like an engineer joke? Okay, so let's just circle back to where I started here, security. What's new in the security space?
So one of the things, thanks for asking that one, is that our partners are really starting to roll out their M23 and M33 devices. So we announced the ARM v8M cores, which has trust zone in them. So trust zone separates out the important keys and very secure information from things like application code, where you can get some malware in there. So it really helps the security of the device. So we've had we started out announcements by Nordic Semiconductor, and then it was followed by Microchip, and then Nuvoton, and then this month we've had NXP, and then at the beginning of the show we've had our ST Micro. So we've had, 5 people announce that those chips are available, really moving the security out of the talking about it zone into the actually doing something about it zone.
Definitely. And one of the things that's been really good is that the ecosystem is starting to come together to make Trust Zone more usable. Because one of the things about memory protection units is, while they're great, is they're really difficult. So I know that Secure Things has done some work there. Secure Things is part of IAR. And then there's some other players as well that are using sort of a framework, development framework, and API-based approach to help just the lay developer, I guess you would say, take advantage of some of that functionality.
And I would have to pipe in here and say ARM also has this PSA architecture, platform security architecture, that we continue to roll out to help make it easier to implement security on our stuff, because we think it's really important.
Definitely.
So with all that said, how much of that burden falls onto the developer? I keep hearing it's easy, and from the developer community, I keep hearing it's not so easy.
I said we're making it easier. I didn't say it was easy. So one of the things I like about the platform security architecture is they go through some of the threat models. So a security, it depends on what you're trying to protect against and what the use case is, and helping people walk through what that process is so they can architect the right solution is something that we're trying to help make it easier to do that.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Definitely, yes.
Nice to
thank
talk to
very
both of
much.
you.
That was the Embedded Insiders. I'm Rich Nass, Brandon Lewis, Rhonda Dirvin.